Good morning children. Welcome to MBM classes. Today let us see the topic integers. So before getting into the topic, you should understand what is the need for negative numbers. So in your earlier classes you have learnt whole numbers or the numbers that starts with 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. up to infinity, and the natural numbers starting with 1, 2, 3, 4 up to infinity. Now these two numbers are positive numbers and 0 which is neither positive nor negative. So now you should, for understanding integers, first you should understand the need for negative integers or negative numbers. So for that you should look at the following subtractions. Now you look at the following subtractions. So you have learned subtraction in your lower classes. For example, if I say 7 minus 4, you say the answer is 7 minus 4 is 3. 5 minus 0 is equal to 5. 23 minus 17 is equal to 6. Now, if you are going to observe all these answers 3, 5 and 6, they come under the set of whole numbers. Now, consider 4 minus 7, 0 minus 5 and 17 minus 23. Can you perform these operations if you have only the set of whole numbers? No, obviously we cannot perform these operations. So, because here we are subtracting a larger number from a smaller number. Here also 0 is smaller than 5. We are subtracting a larger number from a smaller number. Also we are subtracting 23, that is, which is a larger number, from a smaller number 17. So while subtracting these numbers, the answer we are getting from these numbers does not lie in the set of whole numbers. So whole numbers are not sufficient to carry out all subtractions. So we need some more new numbers. So these new numbers are nothing but negative numbers. These new numbers are invented and they are called as negative numbers. These were denoted by putting a negative sign before a whole number. These numbers are nothing but we are going to put a negative sign before a whole number. So whole numbers were 1, 2, 3. So when we put a negative sign before these whole numbers, we get a set of negative numbers. Now let us see some of the real life situations where we need to use negative numbers. Some of the oppositeness in these real life situations are withdrawing money from the bank and depositing money from a bank. So when you deposit, we always use the plus sign. So deposit is always denoted by the plus sign and withdrawing is always denoted by the negative sign. Similarly, when you get a victory in a football match, we denote it by plus, and when you are defeated, we denote it by minus sign. So going up the stairs, you denote it by plus sign. Coming down the stairs, you denote it by negative sign. So when you get a profit in a business, you denote it by plus sign. And when you get a loss, you denote it by negative sign. So when there is a rise in temperature, we denote it by plus sign. And when there is a fall in temperature, we denote it by minus sign. And 100 meter above the sea level, we denote it by plus sign. And 100 meter below the sea level, we denote it by negative sign. Similarly, going towards north, we denote it by plus sign, and going towards south, we denote it by minus sign. So you have to understand the keyword and put the plus sign and the minus sign accordingly. So when you see the word deposit, we use plus. Withdrawing, we use minus. For victory, we use plus, and for defeat, we use minus. Going upwards, plus, and down minus. Similarly, profit plus and loss minus. Rise in temperature is denoted by plus sign and fall in temperature is denoted by minus sign. 100 meter above the sea level is denoted by plus sign and below sea level is denoted by minus sign. Going towards north is denoted by plus sign and going towards south is denoted by minus sign. So you have to understand these keywords to denote the plus sign and the minus sign. So this is where we need negative signs and negative numbers in the real life situations. Come to a conclusion that positive numbers are always greater than 0 and is denoted by a plus sign, and negative numbers are always less than 0 and are denoted by negative sign. For example, for positive numbers, consider the situation that is the boiling point of water. Boiling point of water is written as plus 100 degrees centigrade or simply 100 degrees centigrade. Generally, we don't denote the plus sign. Plus sign is understood. If the sign is not mentioned, it is understood that there is a plus sign before the number. So, boiling point of water is denoted by plus 100 degrees centigrade or only 100 degree centigrade. Similarly, if you are going to consider the negative numbers, that is the freezing point is written as minus 4 degrees centigrade, minus 35 degrees centigrade, etc. So, the temperatures below freezing point is minus 4 degrees centigrade, minus 35 degrees centigrade, etc. This denotes the negative sign. So, both the positive numbers and the negative numbers are called as directed numbers. Both the positive numbers and the negative numbers are called as directed numbers as they indicate directions. Positive numbers and the negative numbers, they are in both opposite directions. Once a direction is chosen by positive sign and the opposite direction is chosen by a negative sign. So they are also called as signed numbers, because we denote the positive numbers by the positive sign plus sign and we denote the negative numbers by negative sign. So you also call them as signed numbers. Directed numbers because they show the positive direction and the negative direction, and signed numbers because they are denoted by positive numbers by positive sign and the negative numbers by negative sign. Let us see what are integers. The positive numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. and the negative numbers minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, etc. together with 0 are called integers. So the integers are nothing but minus 5, minus infinity to minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. are called integers. So these are negative numbers, so you call it as there is a negative sign, so you call it as negative numbers, and here you are having a positive numbers. In between there is 0, which is neither positive nor negative. So the numbers on the right side of 0 you call it as positive numbers, and the numbers on the left side of 0 you call it as negative numbers. And see, if you are going to plot these numbers on a number line like this, you can see 1 and minus 1 are opposites, 2 and minus 2 are opposites, 3 and minus 3 are opposites. So this goes on, and this 0 is neither positive nor negative. So this is how you plot the numbers on a number line. So this is an integer number line where right side of 0 is positive. All the positive numbers are represented on the right side of 0, and all the negative numbers are represented on the left side of 0, and 0 is there in between, which is neither positive nor negative. So let us remember these points on the number line. So all the numbers on the right side of 0. So right side of 0, all these numbers are greater than 0. So this is the first point you have to remember. All the numbers on the number line, that is the right side of 0. Those numbers on the right side of 0 are always greater than 0. But whereas all the numbers on the left side of 0 are always less than 0. In this case 0 is greater, but these negative numbers are always less than 0. Next, all numbers to the right of another are always greater than the negative numbers. That is, positive numbers are always greater than negative numbers. Suppose if you are going to consider two positive numbers, and if I am going to compare 1 and 2, which is bigger? 2 is bigger. The one which is nearer to 0 is always smaller. Whereas in the case of negative numbers, the one which is nearer to 0 is always greater. So these 2 points also you should remember. In case of positive numbers, the one which is nearest to 0 is always smaller. In case of negative numbers, the one which is nearest to 0 is always greater. So when I compare two negative numbers, if I ask you which is greater, minus 2 is greater or minus 1 is greater, you have to see which is nearer to 0. Minus 1 is nearer to 0, so minus 1 is greater. Hope you understand how to compare the numbers in the number line. In general, I can conclude, if I have two numbers, 2 and 3. So which is to the right of 2 and 3? 2 is nearer to 0, so 2 is smaller. So if I have two negative numbers, minus 4 and minus 3, which is nearer to 0? Minus 3 is nearer to 0. So in this case, minus 3 is greater. See some examples to represent the given situation using positive or negative numbers. Here, won the match by 50 runs. So 1 denotes positive. So my answer will be plus 50. Second one, saved rupees 90. Saved is a positive one. So I will write plus 90 rupees. And here 100 meter above sea level. Above denotes positive. So I will write plus 100. Don't forget to write the unit, plus 100 meter. 20 degrees below 0. So below means minus. So I will write minus 20 degree. Next, moving 5 kilometers south. As I said, south denotes minus. So I will write minus 5 kilometer. Next, withdrawal of rupees 500. Withdrawal denotes negative. So it is minus rupees 500. Hope you understood where to denote the positive sign and where to denote the negative sign. So you should understand these keywords to denote whether it is a positive sign or it is a negative sign. Now it's a quiz time for you. Rohit works on the ground floor. So I underline where he is working. At present, Rohit is working on the ground floor on a museum. Using the elevator, so assume this is an elevator. He goes 2 floors. He goes down 2 floors to dump the damaged article, and from there again he goes up 6 floors to talk to the chairman, and then goes down 3 floors to meet a visiting expert. Now you have to find the final position of Rohit. So you underline all these 4 steps, whatever Rohit is doing, and to find out where is Rohit's final position. So now first assume that Rohit is there in the ground floor. So now here is Rohit at this position, that is 0 is nothing but the ground floor. He is there in the ground floor. Now using the elevator, he goes down 2 floors. Down means you have to move down. How many floors he is moving down? 2 floors. So from here I will be moving down 2 floors down. 1, 2. Now Rohit is standing over here at the below minus 2, that is down floor. From he has dumped the damaged article over here, and again he goes up 6 floors to talk to the chairman. That means for meeting the chairman, he has to move up. It is given up. Up means moving forward. That is in the positive direction. He has to move 6 floors. So let us jump 6 floors. Let us move 6 floors from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Rohit has now reached this position, that is wherever he has to meet the chairman. From there he goes down 3 floors to meet a visiting expert. Now again he is moving down 3 floors. So let us move down 1, 2, 3. So he has come to this position to meet a visiting expert. So now where is his final position? You have to find what is the final position of Rohit. From this it is very clear that Rohit is there in the first floor. So this is the answer. So you can write Rohit is finally at the first floor. So this is how integers are very useful in real life situations to attempt these types of sums using number line.